Senator, how you doing this morning?
You were at the dinner? That's what it is. But we can probably do it.
Yeah.
Probably because some of y'all are more in favor of, something got to be made.
Second guess that answer.
Got it. We got about 1 minute until go time. There's a public hearing sign-up sheet if anybody wants to speak, and the clerk's about to take that up right now. So unless we see somebody running up there to sign up, then going. Here she goes. Gone. Okay. Guys, I've got 9:30. I know everybody's on a tight schedule, and it is whiz-bang committee meeting day today, so we're going to go ahead and get started with county municipal government. Senator Hovey, you did a fantastic job last time, and please, me jumping back in this seat does not reflect on the wonderful job that you did chairing this meeting last time, but this one may be a little spicier, so I figured I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Clerk, if you could call the roll as soon as you have an opportunity to sit down.
Senator Albritton. Here. Senator Carnley. Here. Senator Chambliss.
Here.
Senator Coleman. Senator Gudger. Senator Hatcher.
Here.
Senator Kelly.
Here.
Senator Coleman Madison.
Here.
Senator Hovey. Senator Elliott.
I'm here. We have a quorum. First bill on the calendar is House Bill 181. Representative Marques, welcome to the committee. I've heard about your bill. Can you tell the committee about it, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Gentlemen and ladies, what we have is a bill that will clearly define what beneficial use is in the Mobile Bay channel dredging. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a short bill, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain anything.
Senator Albritton. Let me grab Senator Albritton first real quick. Senator Albritton.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate bringing this bill.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of issues there. I'd also call attention to the point that we, meaning the state of Alabama, has put in a lot of money
Yes,
to
sir.
do that dredging.
Correct.
The commercial aspects of that are untold benefits that's there. So we need to find a way to come through, and I appreciate the efforts that we've come to on this, and I know we got short time. I have an amendment. I've talked to the chairperson about this. Thank you. And pass that around if you don't mind. Basically, it adds a subsection F on page 3, and that it states, nothing in this section shall be construed to grant a third party standing to bring a private cause of action related to this section. Basically saying that if there's an issue, we got to come back to the legislature and resolve issues, and it will hopefully prevent lawsuits being brought in to bring changes about that unintended.
Yes, sir.
So
May I
with
see that amendment? I have
Certainly.
not seen it
I'll
yet.
give you my copy. It's coming around now.
It coming around there, and I think you can grab Senator Coleman. She'll hand you one there. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. If the sponsor's okay with this, and Senator Albritton, you too, we're just getting this and just looking at it for the first time, and I appreciate you bringing it.
Hot off the presses.
It's warm. I can feel it. And so what I'd like to do, if we can, is members, let's look at it. Obviously, Representative, there are a lot of very interested parties, some of whom are in the room.
Yes.
And what I'd like to do is, Representative done a fantastic job working this piece of legislation. I want to make sure we float this with the parties and talk with the parties about the amendment, make sure it fits, do our due diligence before adding it onto the bill. And we still have time and still maintain all optionality that we may need in order to get this amendment on there if everybody's good with it.
Mr. Chair, I'm fine with that. I don't have a difficulty with that. Now, I understand the lateness of the time frame and such and the difficulties that we have. But, you know, we address all those issues dealing with trying to resolve and get to a solution and to get to an agreement. But all it takes is one person, one minor party, to throw it into a legal system, and then all of that gets blown up. So this is simply a matter of protection, I think, for everybody that's working hard to get this done to accomplish. But I don't have a problem with waiting, so I would have this available or hopefully have something worked out between now and floor time.
I think that's perfectly
Thank you,
reasonable to
Senator.
have this-
And may I?
Yes, sir.
Chairman, and I would look forward to sitting down with you, Senator, and LSA and Senator Elliott and working through that like we have all of these, because, I mean, obviously, we want to protect the ports because they are an economic engine of the state. Everything goes through there that is vital to the state. We also need to make sure that we protect the bay. So we are trying to do both, and I definitely understand your concerns, and I would love to talk to you about that.
And I see this as a continuation of
Yes, sir.
trying to protect, because I don't want this to become what the difficulty of arriving at an agreement needs to be protected
Yes, sir.
and kept within those bounds of who makes the agreement. So that's where I am.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Coleman Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know it seems like everybody's familiar with this bill, but this is a new one that was on the agenda, so I didn't get a chance to read it last night. Could you really explain
Yes, sir.
what
Yes,
this bill
ma'am.
is and kind of educate me about this?
Yes, ma'am, I sure can. Right now, the Corps of Engineers, the maintenance dredging in the channel, we have gotten to the 50-foot mark in the channel. The maintenance part of that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year from here on. That material, which is about 4.5 million tons, will come out of that channel a year. Right now, the method that is mostly used is called thin layer placement, which is basically when the dredge material is pulled up, there's for lack of a better term, a hose, a line that is run into the open water of the bay, and the dredged material is pumped back into the bay, which, when it's displaced, has caused some issues with the oyster farming, fishers, and the shrimpers, and the people who live on the bay. It has affected the clearness of the bay, so it has affected them also. So this bill, what it is intended to do, 70% of that material would be used for beneficial use, and we've defined that as whether it's erosion control or land building, building up marshlands, etc. And it can also be sold to companies for other usage. So, which would be the best, by the way. That would be the best way of handling it. So this would just limit the amount of thin layer replacement to 30%. And 70% would be used for that other stuff.
Thank you, sir. Now I understand what
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator. Any other questions? I have a motion for favorable report by Senator Chambliss. Do I have a second? I have a second by Senator Coleman Madison. Clerk, call the long roll, please.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Hovey, Senator Elliott.
Aye. Your bill. Yes.
Coleman Madison. Oh, I'm so sorry, I did miss that. Please excuse me. Senator Coleman. Well, I'm Senator Coleman. Sorry, Senator Coleman. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, we just skipped over it reading down the list. Apologies. Representative, good job. Your bill receives a favorable report.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a great day.
Absolutely. Members, if you'll indulge me a little bit, I'm trying to accommodate other members' schedules. And so, Senator Weaver, if you could please present Senate Bill 189, please. Members, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on your list.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to break line so I can present to the next committee as well. So this bill was brought to me by my constituents in Shelby County, but we think it's a great opportunity for the state to look at some cost savings as a whole. It deals with the reprinting of motor vehicle license plates. And when we look at the southeastern states, most states provide either 7 to 10 years expiration, no expiration, or at the discretion of the registrant. So a lot of these plates are still in great condition in 5 years. We would like to move that to 10 years to save some money. Per the Alabama Correctional Industries, the cost to manufacture a license plate, which includes manufacturing, the decal, and the shipping, is $1.83. And they estimate in 2027 that there will be over 4 million of these plates that are up for reissuance. So estimated cost savings of $7.32 million just by moving it from 5 years to 10 years. If your plate is chipping or you have a problem, you would be able to get a new one. But if it's still in great condition, you would be able to keep your plate without having to go through the cost. And I believe that there is an amendment from Revenue.
Yes, sir. There is an amendment, members, in your packet to this is Senate Bill 189. Senator Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, I request to file this amendment to be voted on. All it does is change the date.
I have a motion by Senator Kelly for adoption of the amendment. Do I have a second? I have a second by Senator Coleman Madison. Any objection to using the previous roll? Amendment's adopted. We're on the bill. Do I have a motion for favorable report? So I have a motion by Senator Carnley and a second by Senator Kelly for favorable report. Is there any objection to using the previous roll? Yes, ma'am.
No objection. I just had a question.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
For the chair lady. Madam Chair of Health, where is this revenue, the revenue that we saved, the 7.3 million, is that going to be earmarked somewhere? Trying to see where that money, that savings is going.
It's not earmarked, but I can give you an example of how it's broken down by counties. I don't have it by each county. I do have it for Shelby County, where I represent, where we had the discussion. And they were projecting just in the postage that they would save $416,000 at the county level from having to send those out.
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is currently right now, that money, is it earmarked for various things in the counties? How is that money distributed right now? Because then I want to see then I can discern from there the 7.3 million or whatever it is per county where we may have some excess money in some coming years.
I don't know specific to each county. I believe mine, it's just for their general fund in general.
Okay.
I don't know if it's different for each county or not. I just know how it is for mine.
Okay, who do I need to ask to find out that question?
I'm assuming it would be where the people who do the tags in your county.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the bill sponsor? Have a motion and a second. Is there any objection to using previous roll? Hearing none, bill receives a federal report. Thank you, Senator Weaver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
I'm glad the sponsor found a good Senate sponsor to carry his companion bill this year. Next up, Senator Livingston has Senate Bill 196. Sorry, Senator Shelnutt. I do this in order of fear, and that's why the majority leader goes after Senator Weaver. So,
Well spoken,
Yes,
Chairman. Appreciate that. SB 196 is a pretty simple bill. It's under existing law. Contracts for public works in excess of $100,000 are subject to public works law and must be competitively bid pursuant to requirement of that law. This would allow these contracts to be exempt for playground equipment and public works area and the installation thereof. So,
are there any questions for the sponsor? Do I have a motion for favorable report?
Move favor.
I have a motion by Senator Albritton, a second by Senator Kelly. Is there any objection to using the previous roll? Hearing none, your bill receives a favorable report. Thank you so much.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members.
Absolutely.
Senator Shelnutt.
Senator Shelnutt, we're going to be efficient with your bill and pass both of them here today, I think. So, members, this is House Bill 153, Representative Garrett. The companion is Senate Bill 132, Senator Shelnutt, and they are identical. And so, if you present your bills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just to be clear, y'all jumped in front of Representative Garrett, Budget Chairman, just make sure y'all know that. These two bills we've actually passed out of both bodies. They're just a repeat. They're because Trussville, it only deals with the city of Trussville, and Trussville is in 2 counties. The courts is in the courts right now, and they wanted us to advertise it, so we just advertised it this time. So it allowed Trussville to do their own personnel board to pull out of Jefferson County. So
I think we have questions from the gentleladies from Jefferson.
Thank you.
I think Senator Coleman Madison got it first, so if that's okay with you.
Shelnutt.
shall not.
Okay. Is this for the same municipality, but because they're in 2 different counties, you're having to advertise this because they're local bills?
Right. We already passed this last year, this exact bill, but it's and we've already, our personnel board in Trussville is already operating, but it's tied up in the courts because they said, hey, it was in 2 counties. They wanted us to advertise it, so this advertising takes care of that problem that's going to get it out of the courts.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I commend them. I know they're doing great things and they're growing out in that area. I'm just hoping that we don't see a whole lot of this, but it really is up to each cities. I mean, even Birmingham, we've had issues for years with personnel, but it does diminish the benefits to the people that are still there. I was just curious because both of them are Class 8 municipalities, and so now I understand why it's 2 different counties. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
I
you.
support in that proper time. I'd like to move for approval.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll reserve your motion there and let Senator Coleman ask her question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
It's more of it is one question. So Class 8 municipalities, does that only impact the city of Trussville? There's no other Class 8 municipalities?
As far as yes, there's no in Jefferson County. This only affects Trussville.
Okay, I
It's
just
in
want to
2
make
counties.
sure.
Yeah, because Trussville is the only one that fits the definition. It's in 2 counties. in
Okay,
Jefferson County.
thank you for that clarification. Last year, I know we had Trussville, Mobile. I think those 2 were the areas on the 2 different committees I served on that were trying to come from under the personnel board. And I'm not going to, because I don't represent the area, I am going to abstain on the bill, but I just want us to make sure that we understand why we have a personnel board, why we have merit system, period. It is to ensure that there is a fair process in hiring. Prior to the system, there was nepotism. Women didn't have a fair shot. People of color definitely didn't have a fair shot. So that is why we had the system in the first place. So I hope that we don't continue on the trajectory of taking cities out. But again, I won't this year. I'll just abstain, but just want to go on record as stating there is a reason why. And I hope that we are not going to lose protections for women, for the disabled, for other marginalized communities as we continue to take people from under the personnel board. And with that, Mr. Chair, is about to call you Mr. Speaker. No further comments.
I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. Members, procedurally, we're on HB 153 right now. I have a motion by Senator Coleman Madison. Do I have a second for favorable report? I have a second by Senator Chambliss. Clerk, let's call the long roll so we can get the abstention on the record, please.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Coleman, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Hovey, Senator Elliott.
Aye. Okay, Senator, Representative Garrett's bill receives a favorable report. Would y'all renew your motions for a favorable report for Senate Bill 132, which is identical? Is that okay with y'all? I have a motion by Senator Hatcher and a second by Senator Chambliss. Is there any objection to using the previous roll, which includes an abstention? Okay. Senator Shelnutt, your bill receives a favorable report. And so
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I think that may have the same effect. The motion's tabled. Okay. Senator Roberts, guys, I'm bumping around here. I'm trying to accommodate schedules. You have SB 197 that deals with food truck licensures. Riveting.
Reverend, good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Chairman. Good morning, committee. I was approached 2 years ago by two gentlemen from the city of Birmingham and one from Shelby County. And they came to me with this idea. We put together, fashioned a bill. Immediately, a lot of flack came. We wound up pulling together the state fire marshals, ADPH, League of Municipalities, and before you is the agreed upon, or at least remain neutral, as the league told me today. And I said, how can you not support this? And they said, it's as good as it can get. So there you go. So I present this. It's a food truck bill. It allows food truck operators to receive a state fire marshal certificate upon inspection. They still have to obtain business licenses wherever they go, but these guys are having to take off a day job maybe to go sit, to wait, to get inspected here, wherever they're going. And it's fascinating to me. A lot of cities ask them to come in at different times, and other times they're moving at their own pleasure places. But this will allow them to operate within the state of Alabama with a state fire marshal stamp with ADPH sticker, renewed every 6 months, but they still have to work with the municipalities, and those guys can come on at any time to inspect if they suspect there's issues. So I'd ask for favorable.
I have a motion by Senator Chambliss, a second by Senator Carnley for favorable report. Are there any questions? Senator, you want back on the roll? Okay, so we're going to use the previous roll without objection and add my friend. Okay, bill receives a unanimous favorable report. Thank you, Senator. Okay, let's go to House Bill 140, Representative Sells. See, you right there. Hey. We've had the companion bill to this bill in committee already, so brevity is the soul of wit this morning.
Just keep going, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion by Senator Chambliss, a second by Senator Carnley. Is there any objection to using previous roll? Bill receives a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Judge Hill. Members, we're on House Bill 117. It's the last one on your calendar regarding procurement.
Yes, sir. Last on your calendar, but first in your heart. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring this for the ACCA. Here's what's happened. Only our county administrators have a credit card. Consequently, when the county tries to go to any type of meetings or conferences, it is that one credit card that only the administrator has. What this bill does is allows her to load basically like a debit card that individual that's going to a meeting can take to pay for their hotel.
I have a motion by Senator Hatcher, a second by Senator Carnley. Is there? Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to support the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, ma'am.
Former chairman of Judiciary, in the House. But what are we doing just to make sure that there is no abuse?
They must bring back their receipts.
Just got an issue in my district where we had some issues with a debit card.
All I'm saying to you, ma'am, is that they're given these cards for certain things. They must bring back a receipt to verify that they spent that money for those. Otherwise, they go spend their own money and get reimbursed. That's the purpose of this, just to be more efficient.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, did I have a motion? I've got you got a motion and a second recorded? Okay, is there any objection to use it in the previous role? No objection, your bill receives a favorable report.
Yes, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank you, thank you very much, sir. Okay, let's go to Senate Bill 26, which is dealing with libraries. That's mine. Members, we've passed this bill before in this committee and in the body, and it is in its format as it passed the Senate previously. So I always try to, when we have these multi-year bills, try to go back to where we last passed it, and that's where we find ourselves this morning. We have a public hearing on the bill, and so we'll get to that in just a second. The bill deals with library boards in general, and it's simple in its context. It basically says that the appointing authority appoints library board members, and that those library board members serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority. And so I'm real big on there being a path between the people and those that serve them in whatever capacity, and that there is some recourse in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so I have had comments, and I'm sure y'all have all received emails one way or the other. And so I'd like to say this. The director of the Department of Transportation for the state of Alabama serves at the pleasure of the governor of the state of Alabama. The chief deputy of your sheriff's department serves at the pleasure of the sheriff, the elected official. There are very few places in government where the appointing authority makes an appointment and then cannot recall that person for some reason or the other. The notable exception is a federal judge, but that's pretty much it, where you have lifetime appointments that are made and you can't take them back. This simply provides, in my mind, a middle of the road way to solve some of these library issues that we've had, where each individual municipality or each individual county commission is in control of their library board, and not us. Where we're not dealing with the library issues here in Montgomery, we're letting Jefferson County do what's good for Jefferson County, Birmingham do what's good for Birmingham, Auburn do what's good for Auburn, Prattville do what's good for Prattville, and Orange Beach do what's good for Orange Beach. And so that's the basis of the legislation. There's an amendment that's been offered. I want to get to that, but let's get to the public hearing if we can first, and then we'll discuss amongst us. And so in the interest of time, we're going to keep comments to about 2 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. I have James Gilbreth. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am. Okay, good. Your handwriting is right about mine, like mine. So welcome to the committee, sir. About 2 minutes, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I am a lifelong resident. I speak as a lifelong resident of the state of Alabama, as well as have the honor of speaking as the president of the Alabama Library Association. The association has a couple of concerns about this bill. One of them being the language says 2/3 vote of the appointing authority, but doesn't have any language related to cause. So the cause could be literally anything. It could be because, the person is an Alabama fan at the Auburn Public Library, on the Auburn Public Library Board. I mean, that's an extreme example, but it could come down to something like that. There is no cause-related language in this bill related to removal, so we have concerns about due process for library board members. And additionally, on lines 61 through 65, there is a reporting requirement that requires that local library boards report to the governor, Speaker of the House, and President Pro Tem of the Senate a report of members of the board, as well as actions the board has taken regarding the review of or removal of items in their collection. And I don't know offhand, but I'm curious how many other equivalent local boards have to make reports to the governor and members and leadership of both the House and the Senate. That seems just a little bit unequal in my eyes. And while, this is related to board members, we are the Alabama Library Association. We care about the library, our members, library board members, as well as the community. I think this has a great potential to politicize library board positions, given the times that we are currently dealing with. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I think Senator Coleman Madison has an amendment that we'll talk about in a minute that deals with the reporting requirements, so we'll get to that concern. Hovey, help me with that. Second one.
Angie Hayden.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, my eyesight or your handwriting. We're going to blame it on my eyesight. Angie, welcome.
It's my handwriting.
Yes, ma'am.
Angie Hayden, I'm from Prattville, and thank you for allowing me to speak to you today to express my concerns about this bill. The existing structure regarding the appointment of library boards works beautifully, and I believe that this bill is unnecessary. The current system ensures continuity, stability, and protection from arbitrary and unfounded removal, most importantly. And as proposed, SB 26 would disrupt that structure. This bill is so destructive that what I believe was a well-intentioned amendment was added due to well-founded concerns that books about race, such as The Hate U Give, a book that is at the center of the pressure campaign against the Fairhope Public Library, would be censored. Although I understand the good intentions behind that amendment, this amendment would only trigger even more unnecessary government overreach, requiring state-mandated reporting system for each community's individual local decisions about book placement. SB 26 allows for library board members to be removed with no cause, no due process, leaving local communities and even board members themselves in the dark. I don't believe this provides very much transparency, and I believe that we all know that this will further politicize libraries right now. Our wonderful librarians have already had to face a lot of undeserved manufactured crises, controversies, and even personal attacks over the last 3 years. Our libraries are suffering and citizens are alarmed. I hear them every day. I urge you not to entertain any more unnecessary assaults on our libraries, and instead respect the expertise of library board members, librarians, and the autonomy of local library boards. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Alex Kim, you have great handwriting. Yes, ma'am. You're from up in the north part of the state, aren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got an email from you the other day.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
So I am from Madison County. I drove down from Madison County, where our library system, the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, has the highest service population, which is continuing to grow, as we all know, the highest circulation, the highest programs and program attendance, and the highest number of visits as of 2024 in this state. And yet only the fourth highest budget. And that is despite being level funded by both the city and the county commission for the past 2 consecutive years. Staff hasn't received a cost of living wage in 2 consecutive years. And still we're managing to perform. That's in light of all of this national press you may have noticed we've been getting, especially around the Alabama Public Library Service and their decisions around how they're going to manage content public libraries, which is why I really wanted to harp on the reporting section of this bill. Not only do I think it's kind of an overreach, right? No other local board, as far as we know, has to report directly to the state government in this way. But the APLS is kind of already doing it, and doing it in such a way that Fairhope is making national news. Other libraries in the state have made national news in not a particularly flattering light sometimes. And it just seems another thing to throw on the governor and the pro tems, et cetera's desk when there's tons of other things I'm sure the governor and pro tems figure out want to be working on besides micromanaging public library boards. The chilling effect is already evident. Again, the Huntsville library system has a ballooning population, a stagnant budget. We haven't been able to hire staff like we really need to meet demand. And a lot of that is stemming from city officials saying, well, given the climate right now, I don't know. Given the climate right now, we're having to make a lot of decisions that are reducing the supply of programs, resources, workers. And there's things that don't even show up on that statistical report that we do, such as helping folks apply for unemployment, review their resumes, fax medical papers, or unemployment, or provide tax forms. There's a lot of invisible labor happening that we're going to miss out on. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next up, we have Jessica. I'm going to go with Hayes. What do you think? Okay. Did I get it right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, excellent.
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you. I'm Jessica Hayes. I'm a member of the Alabama Library Association. I'm also a librarian myself, a mom, and a proud parent of Prattville Kindergarten School, so I'm a Prattville resident. I'm here to speak in opposition of the Senate Bill 26. It would fundamentally politicize Alabama library boards and further destabilize libraries and everything we're facing today. But let's be blunt, the purpose of this bill is to allow elected officials to remove board members who don't obey their every request, including but not limited to censoring books. It's a capitulation to ideological extremists and sets a dangerous precedent that honestly no one here wants. You've heard the dangers of this bill 2 times before from many of us speaking today. It used to be a theoretical warnings that we gave, but today it's reality. You can see it play out what would happen if this bill is enacted as is in 3 different library boards in the state. It's laughable to think that this bill will make anything better for any of us, let alone libraries. It's creating chaos, poor management, financial loss, and public embarrassment in Prattville, North Shelby, and at the state level. Prattville has spent already almost, if their reporting is correct, $50,000 in legal cost alone. That's not considering the settlement that they made because they wrongfully terminated an employee, the board members that were stacked for ideological reasons. North Shelby is censoring books on menstruation, how to prevent child abuse and sexual assault, all because they were appointed by ideological extremists. John Wall has publicly demeaned Fair Hope Public Library, stripped their funding, called Fair Hope Community the worst in the state.
Ms. Hayes, your time's expired.
That's fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please do not test this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Members, first of all, I think there's been some good discussion regarding the reporting requirements, and Senator Coleman Madison has an amendment that she has passed out. As the bill sponsor, I do not have an issue with this amendment. It essentially removes the reporting requirements. Senator, there is a small Scribner's error in the amendment. There's a small Scribner's error in the amendment that incorrectly identifies a line number.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
with the clerk. What I'd like to do, I'm accepting your amendment. What I'd like to do is add it on the floor when we have the corrected version of it.
That's
Okay?
fine.
And so we'll get that fixed. It's a tiny little line number issue, but we'll get that fixed. But this essentially, members, removes the reporting requirements that are in there. I think there's been some good
Entire
comments.
section E.
Yeah, there's been some good comments from the public speakers about that, and I think my colleague has a good point, and I'd like to do that. So if it's okay with you, let's get this fixed, and we'll add it on the floor, if that works for you.
That's fine. Can we just maybe just go ahead and add it now? I'll bring up the corrected copy. It's just
Well, I tell you what, we may have to table the committee amendment then, and then add the corrected one back on. But if you feel more comfortable with that, I'll do that.
yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure it gets on here.
I have
And
a
if-
motion
and
by
if we
Senator
want-
Coleman Madison to adopt the committee amendment. I have a second by Senator Coleman. Clerk, call the roll. I'm good with the amendment, guys.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Coleman, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison,
Aye.
Senator Hovey, Senator Elliott.
Aye. Okay. So we've adopted the amendment. Senator Coleman Madison, just so you know, I'll probably have to table it on the floor, and then we'll get the fixed one adopted on the floor. Does that work for you? Just want to let you know that.
When you go to the mic, you may be up there for another bill, but I'll be up there.
I hope you
make
will
sure.
be. I hope you will
Okay.
be. So we'll be good on that. Okay. The other issues, I wanted to address these just really quickly, and I know everybody's got to run. There is a 2/3 requirement in here, so this is not just one member doing something. Senator Chambliss, you had this amendment, I think last year or the year before, that dealt with a super majority vote, and so that's in there, and so that's there. I'm concerned. You've heard about lawsuits and stuff going on in other libraries. I'm concerned about language about due process and for cause. Guys, these are volunteer appointments. This is not a job. This is a volunteer appointment. And these folks, are not employed. It's not a due process or for cause type of situation. Those are legal terms. We just got out of judiciary. Those are legal terms that have implications in case law associated with them. This would also avoid something that I've seen happening, and that is where city councils are simply saying, in order to avoid dealing with library boards, we will just appoint ourselves the library board. And that's what I've seen city councils doing in certain parts of the state. And so that means we don't have library boards essentially anymore, and because they're trying to get around this. And what I think this does is strike a good middle ground where there is accountability for the library boards and accountability for the elected officials that appoint them. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Senator Elliott, well, first of all, let me thank you for bringing this. I think it's much more palatable. It may not be what everybody wants. I am a strong supporter of libraries. I mean, in Jefferson County, I received an award several years ago, Jefferson County Library, because I constantly support libraries, especially those in my district. But having served on the Birmingham City Council, I do know that we appointed library board members, whether it's a county commission that appoints them. So basically, they are already, this bill just, I guess, would codify what's already there. They are appointed members. They are volunteer members. They are not paid. They really are already under the governing body of the appointing authority already. That doesn't change anything. I wanted the section E removed because the people that serve on these boards should be the ones. First of all, we don't need any more paper. We kill a lot of trees, and I'm guilty of that because I have to mark things up, so I have to have a paper copy. But we don't need you all reporting to us about what you've taken off the shelf or what you having your store. Go to the library. The people who appoint you can go there and check this out themselves. But I know that you all meet. You have an association. You communicate on a national level to find out what are the trends. And so I respect your opinion and your knowledge about what is appropriate for libraries. We don't need you to be reporting to us half the stuff we don't read anyway. So I'm just being honest. Half the stuff we don't read because we don't have the time. And you know that this is a rushed session. So I think everything else in here really is acceptable. It just codifies what is already being done. Now, it kind of seems like a slap in the face in a way when somebody said, well, how dare they? We've been doing all this, but you are already under these same rules. If the city council who appoints you says that, we are dissatisfied with this member and they decide to meet and appoint somebody else, they already have that authority right now. This doesn't change anything. So I think with the removal of Section E and everything else in there, I think this is a good compromise.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I do appreciate you and we had a conversation last night about what your intent was with this bill. And I did go back to the hotel room, read it. It was exactly what you said. Still does not mean that I didn't have some concerns. The removal of Section 3 for me does a whole lot for the palatability of the bill. And for those folks that are staunchly against any change at all, something was going to happen. And sometimes in this body, the work is making something not as bad as it could have been. And this is it, actually. This is it. I still have the concern about the 2/3 So if I'm using Jefferson County, the Jefferson County Commission, and the politicizing of the board, still that portion of it. So our Jefferson County, a 2/3 vote would be all Republicans making the decision for who's removed. Versus if we had because you're saying 2/3 is a super majority, but to me, 4 out of 5 would have been, which we did. We actually put some language in. I can't remember it when we were doing our county manager. I actually put the amendment on. Now I can't even remember what it said, but there was a removal portion for the county manager, and we ended up making it 4 out of 5 instead of the 2/3. But just something that portion of it, this 2/3 still could mean that this still could be political removal. So that's going to be my no vote today, just because of that portion of it.
Yes, ma'am. I remember us having this conversation and with Senator Chambliss, and I need to go find my notes on that, but I'll be happy to continue to chat with you about that. I mean, the goal is that there's a higher standard than just a majority, and we can continue to talk about that. I know we're in the interest of time. I'd like to move along if we can, so I'm going to go ahead and move favorable report. I have a second by Senator Chambliss. Clerk, if you could call the long roll, please.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Coleman, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Hovey, Senator Elliott.
Aye. Bill receives a favorable report. Thank you, colleagues. I know it's a busy day. I'll let you all run to the next thing. The members voted before they